Out of nowhere, an empty channel posts a completion of Sakupen Circles, jumping from auditory breaker in 29,000 attempts. A year later, he scores 73% on Tidal Wave in 17,000 attempts and takes down all the top demons. At the same time, he's not some regular cheater. He has all the proof of his legitimacy. Why is no one talking about him? Is he really a player who is going to compete with the very best in this game? Or is he just a project by some Russian cheater who is also lying about his attempt counts? We'll get to it all, but let's take it one step at a time. Bacon is a very young player from Kazakhstan. We don't know much about him as a person, except that he loves his cat very much and that his nickname was invented by his brother, simply because that's what he calls him in real life. Oh, and Brawl Stars too. A year ago he burst into the scene with a jump from auditory breaker to the Sakupen Circles, with handcam and raw footage as a proof. By the way, as he himself wrote, he completed the ST just to prove to some random guy on TikTok that he was actually capable of doing it. Thanks to this guy for his career. And while a jump like that is very difficult, to be honest, it doesn't really surprise anyone these days. So many people have been pulling off jumps even from hard demons to the levels like ST, but the difference lies in how people develop from there. Some try to jump again, some quit the game, and others start practicing to build up their skills and consistency at similar levels to solidify the progress. Our player decided to take this path. Summer is starting, and he posts some progress on a nerfed Sakupen Circles, 67% and from 58 to the end. Takes a short break to beat Vasureta, showing that his fast pattern skill is well developed too, and solidifies his skill by beating the golden, possibly after 3000 attempts. That's the info from the comments, there's no confirmation, so it's questionable. Still, it turned out to be a pretty solid summer. Instead of jumping into some new difficult level, he decided to solidify his skills, and that's exactly what allowed him to keep getting stronger. Remember, he reached this level in a very short amount of time. Usually it takes people years to get to this point, but what comes next is even more unimaginable. A week after the golden, he completed Sonic Wave Infinity in 5000 attempts. Another 2 weeks later, he completed Delusion with a 1-minute handcam. He literally set up the camera and cleared it in a minute, lol. And things go quiet. We don't hear anything about him for 2 months, but this isn't a quit, it's just a regular break, because he returns as the first person in Kazakhstan to beat Saul Goodman in 9000 attempts. Well, a couple of days later, he beat 7 club step for 11k. The incredibly rapid skill progression appearing out of nowhere and the small number of attempts looked suspicious, especially since he was playing without CBF at all, so the global demon list decided to check his legitimacy. During the proof stream, no cheats were found, and it also turned out that the player is quite young, which leaves us with 2 possibilities. First off, it's 100% legit. Second, it's someone else's project. And that's dubious, because it's incredibly difficult to perfectly fake that many handcams and raw footage clips, especially if you're not hacking for yourself but for some kid with YouTube channel. But that's not all. In a month, he sets a world record, beating awareness with a previous record of 50% after 29k attempts. Remember, not long ago he completed Sakupen Circles with the same amount of attempts, and he also spent as many as Zoring on verifying awareness. That's total madness. An incredibly steep skill progression, few attempts, young age, consistency, all of this is bacon. But there's one catch. Because of LDM, he isn't accepted into Pointer Crate. So he starts rebeating awareness. In a month, with another 35k attempts, he rebeats it without LDM. Along the way he does two crazy things. He clears cobwebs in 2 hours and clears double click spot in the Sakupen Circles with triple clicks, twice in a row, in 530 attempts. This is the event that personally blew me away, even though it pales in comparison to the others. But still, jeez. The story doesn't end there. Acheron, 60%, and from 17 to the end, 6 days, about 20,000 attempts. And it seemed like he will beat it soon. But his keyboard broke. He ordered a new one, which turned out to be defective. He played with the mouse, and that broke too. A couple of days later, he fixed all the problems, but his interest in the level had already waned a bit. And on top of that, he was given the chance to verify Less of a While by Cherry Team, so he decided to switch to that instead. While he was playing it, he decided to have fun on some other levels. He chose what was once the most terrifying challenge, which he completed after 30k old attempts and 4k new ones. Speaking of the level itself, he said, the entire level depends on your skill set, because it requires perfect click control, spam control, and all that, and overall the level was made perfectly for me. After that, he completed some slaughterhouse level in 50k attempts. And True Effect in 3k attempts. He gained a decent amount of experience while practicing Less of a While, which, by the way, he completed 2 weeks later after 50,000 attempts. The level was extremely difficult, and its gameplay wasn't the bacon type, but in any case, this level became his hardest achievement. Then he took a little break on an interesting level, spending 7k attempts on it, and earned some respect from WizKid. After that, he cleared Aquamarine in 10 days. It took 10 days and 16k new attempts to reach the top 23 Aquamarine. And by the way, all of this happened over 4 months. Just think about it. What a huge number of milestones a person can clear in such a short time. Fast forward a month and he have already cleared Firework in 10k attempts. And Penumbral in 20k. Then the grind for unnerfed Sakupen Circles begins. First he is playing spam on mobile, then from 37% to the end, 67% 8 times, one of which was a fluke. 8,000 new attempts and about 100,000 old ones, Bacon beats the unnerfed Sakupen Circles. And without a second's hesitation, he jumps right into Bubovamba. It took 27,000 attempts to update his hardest completion. And here we are at the present moment. 23 to the end on the Tidal Wave and 73%, which is fluke from 40%. A year and 3 months have passed since the jump to SC. Bacon is one of the fastest growing, most versatile and most consistent players right now. And among others, he is starting to look like a very serious contender. But let's take a closer look at the attempt slice and cheating. If you think about it logically, looking at his playtime on Telegram channel, plus the difference in completion dates, it becomes quite clear that the attempt counts are actually quite realistic, and Bacon himself often writes about this on his Telegram. As for cheating, aside from the huge amount of proof I've already mentioned, you can also take the word of one of GD's top exposers, Adely, who says that Bacon personally proved his legitimacy to him via a livestream. Should you believe all this? That's up to you. After weighing all the pros and cons, what I see is a young talent who, if he doesn't give up on the game, will start to pose serious competition to the best players. What do you think? Will he able to compete in the future with, say, Trick or even Zoink, considering how fast he's improving? We'll have to wait and see.